Hi, how are you? Hope everybody's doing well. Let's talk about scripture. The scripture readings this weekend have been taken from the Acts of the Apostles, the first letter of John, and the Gospel of John. And in them, we want to talk about the peace of Christ. The disciples were afraid. There was no doubt about it. They were hiding, they were mourning, they were in pain, they were suffering the death of their best friend Jesus, their teacher, the Messiah. And they were afraid, very afraid, because they saw what happened to Jesus and they thought that those same people who killed Jesus, those Jewish authorities, were going to go after them next. That what happened to Jesus was going to happen to each one of them. So of course they were afraid. In other words, they didn't have peace at that moment. They were terrified. And precisely at that moment, Jesus comes to them, appears to them, reveals himself glorified, resurrected, and tells them, peace be with you. Just at the moment that the most need peace. And all of them got it, but one, Thomas, who was very unlucky because at that moment he was not there. While the disciples gained the peace of the Lord, not only peace, but the joy of the resurrection, Thomas was still afraid, still in pain and in mourning. And that's the way that he returned back to the disciples. And it happens to all of us. Even if each disciple would come to him and say, hey, it's true, the Lord is risen. He's alive. It's hard for us to believe too. When we are in moments of suffering, of fear, of doubt, of restlessness, it's hard to hear from our friends, from our family members, from our loved ones, don't worry, everything is going to be better. These too shall pass. You're going to be feeling better. You're going to be feeling better soon. It's hard to see the path out of our anxiety, of our worriness, of our pain, of our suffering. That's what happened to Thomas too. That it was hard for him to understand it because he hadn't lived it. We all are invited to experience that peace of the Lord in our lives. Jesus offers us a reason to have peace because he conquered fear. He conquered the fear and the terror of death. He won over death. So we shouldn't fear death anymore. He understands our fears and our pain because he went through fear and pain too. He does not judge us for being afraid. He does not judge us for being terrified and for not seeing our way out through things in life. On the contrary, he feels compassion, mercy, and love for each one of us every time we go through difficult moments in life. The same way that he felt compassion and love and mercy for Thomas, which poor Thomas, he has a bad reputation for not believing at that moment. But we shouldn't forget that Thomas was so brave that at one moment when Jesus' life was threatened earlier in the gospel, he was willing to die for Jesus. It's not that Thomas loved Jesus less than the rest of the disciples. Jesus loved Thomas, and Thomas loved Jesus deeply. It was just a bad moment, like we all do. We all have doubts at one point of our lives. We all sometimes cannot see the horizon where good things would happen to our lives. It's hard to see it. We feel a bit of fog in our lives. But Jesus is there, patiently waiting for us, that we may believe, that we may gain his peace too, that we may have that moment, the same moment that Thomas had. They just said, hey, come here. You want to believe? Touch. Put your finger. Put your hand. That we may also may have a moment of peace, of realization, hey, there's a way out. Peace is achievable. And we may say, my Lord and my God, the same way that Thomas did. May we all remember those moments where we receive the peace of the Lord. Where may we become those witness of the peace of Christ, the type of peace that is given to us, that we may also share it with other hearts that are going through pain, with those minds that are going through anxiety, that we may say to them, may the peace of the Lord be with you.